Well, new snapshots. 23W16A. A very annoying change. So they renamed all of the pottery shards to sherds. So sherds is the technical term for a ceramic shard, but I mean I don't really see why there was a necessity to clean up the nomenclature. They've also updated the trial ruins. They're a lot better now. They're actual like dungeons. Well, not dungeons, but as in they have loots and they're not just filled in random assortment of blocks technically. But speaking of the change, so aren't I glad I swapped to data packs? And more importantly, yeah, this needs a little bit of an update. Yeah, so I've decided I'm gonna strip everything down and I'm gonna make this map or whatever it is at this point into just a collection of data packs. So essentially everything here has to go. I've already figured out the randomizer. That was the trickiest part, but there was a few helpful online tools that I just tweaked and made to serve my purpose. So that's pretty decent. In fact, I think it should be running. Well, actually, no, the whole pack's probably broken, isn't it? Because they updated the tag or whatever it is. Oh no, rune chant is there. I thought it was changed to 14. Let's see, function. We know I can just do scoreboard, objective, set display, sidebar, randomizer. No, so it is. Oh no, it is. There you go. It's counting. Yeah. Ah, well, it is my other account. If you're curious why there's two of us up there. But yeah, so I have obviously stripped away all of the building, well, most of it, all of the quartz, so that I can go through all the command block systems and turn it into data packs. So it is going to put a substantial delay on the map, but look at that. Tick lag is under 20, is great. The randomizer in itself was actually causing quite a bit, and then the fact that I had a whole bunch of entities and this chunk is constantly loaded was another issue in itself. So definitely for the better that we've gone with this idea. Plus, like with the new nomenclature, I have to go through and if it was command box, I'd have to change all shards to sherds. Now, luckily, I can use, Control F to find and replace all the shards to sherds. Very annoying when they've done it. They've done other name changes, but they haven't actually touched the Minecraft data. So be wary with command blocks. This is why you don't work on snapshots, technically. But yeah, so what's the plan? What's the go? Well, I'm either going to work from the top or the bottom and just one system after the other convert it to a data pack. It's actually not as much as you might think. So there's the dungeon system, that's probably going to be the hardest. The mob system, they'll need a collection of itself. Stuff like the casting system. So this is sort of where my mentality was a bit broken. In order to convert this to a data pack, it is doable and it is able to do with, the same level of tick lag to maybe less. So the issue I had was I run a lot of conditional commands and they trigger obviously only when the command behind it triggers. In the case of these systems, as you can see, they're all constant and then there's a block of conditional. If I were to convert this just to a straight data pack, one for one as it is, then everything would be constantly running. So for instance, the system on right now, if I were to convert it into a data pack or use the data pack I had made, which I've shown off before, because it's running every single one of these commands constantly, it's generating a lot more tick lag than conditional statements. So the mentality I need to adapt is anytime I essentially restart a new redstone system, so I have this type of command where it says run fill, this needs to be a separate data pack, and then this command needs to be execute if blah 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 run function and then that data pack. So each of these lines will need to be their own data packs in order to cut down lag and make sure they're only called upon when necessary. So when this entity exists or when the player is able to create this type of spell. So it's not too much of a worry. Then there's a few minor systems, a few systems that's actually a lot better if I convert. Where are they? Those, because there is an issue with them and their clearing of the resources or bonuses, whatever you want to call it. I did have a system here that was to do with the ancient and enchanted satchels that act as resource bonuses. This text is a bit wrong, it's a bit outdated. So for instance, grab a copy. If I were to do this, movement speed, no movement speed, and I don't have to run redstone anymore to trigger that command. The only thing I don't know how to tie in just yet is the tick mechanic. So for instance, right now I have a command block somewhere over here that's running activate and tick. So this just runs every Minecraft tick, but I don't know how to tie that into the base game so it runs without, having a command block. Obviously, it's easy enough with a server, but on a single player world, it's something I'm going to have to look into. Okay, so that's it. How many systems are there left for me to do? Well, there's the dungeon system, then there's the ore smithing, and spawner, total egg spawner. Yeah, that's these compartments down here. Then there's also a spore system and a totem system, so that's these two. Then we've got our daily events, our static events, so depending how long the world has been on, different things happen. Then we have all of the 1.20 armor trim attributes and effects. Then the mob system, other armor system, okay, it's kind of getting out of hand. And then a few crafting systems. Maybe 10 to 12 systems for me to convert. All in all, it should make for a better map. A map that is easily, you can run it on whatever you design. Though I do like this world. You can just download the pack, run it on any world. You can attach mods to it. You could run different maps to it. You could create adventure maps around it if you wanted. I think all in all, it's a better idea, and it also obviously future-proofs it, so I can much more easily go back and fix bugs or edit or add all different mechanics, and then it's easy enough for a player to update because they just have to re-download the data pack and replace it. If it was a map like this, then there's not really a good way for me to release a new version unless the player wants to completely restart or they want to mess around with a lot more difficult files than just replacing the data pack. So all in all, I just wanted to give a little bit of a map update. And yeah, so it's definitely going to be delayed a lot longer, unfortunately. Yeah, technically it is done, it is playable, everything is finished, but it's not polished to the extent I want it to be. So, do forgive me. For any of those who are actually interested in it, it's going to take a little bit longer. I'm going to try to work pretty tirelessly on it. Maybe, do, if I can, 2 or 3 systems a day. If I can manage 2 or 3 systems a day of copy and pasting and then, editing the little bits I have to make it function as a data pack, then actually it won't take long at all. Alright. Should we just run over the other changes? I think there was one command, return rights, which just allows you to return different data. I'm not too sure how it works. It says integer, so you need what, a number? Value, and then return 1. I don't know what return does. I think it's meant to be tied to the data gets, and you can just return X values. I think it may be as a true or false statement. If it returns X, it runs. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And anything else do they change? Trial ruins, return. Oh, I think item animations. Something to do with it, having more degrees of rotation. Anyway, it's not a big snapshot, and obviously we're wrapping up to the end of 120. I think the greatest timeline that I could sort of figure, sticking to would be to match this up to 120. So it comes out, maybe a week or 2 after 120. So you've got all the people who are showcasing 120, and then hopefully I can fish them into playing this. But yeah, all in all, it should be a better map. It should be a lot more consistent. It should be a lot more accessible to a lot more players to run. Because again, even though it is down to 17 here, I still can't get it to run on my potato computer, which is, it's not too old. It's like 4 years old at this point. So it's a bit worrisome that this map won't be accessible to everyone. And then the dungeon system is also probably the hardest one to convert. I think this would probably take me a bit longer. Oh no, copy and pasting does make it pretty easy. I just, home, shift, and then copy. Right. I guess we'll leave it there. I would say I hope you enjoyed, but it's not really one to enjoy. Thanks for listening. See ya.